I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruach Kwadash. The Heavenly Father's name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ. His true name is Yahweh Shai. All right. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who rule well and taught us His truth. And peace and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, so called. All right, I got an article here that popped up a couple hours ago. Today's date is October 29th, 2020, the year of prophecy. It says, the end of American power. Don't blame Trump and don't expect Biden to save it either. Written by Finian Cunningham. Now, the title really grabbed out at me because, the end of American power. All right, all kingdoms are ultimately gonna fall until the kingdom of heaven comes, all right, ruled by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai and the governing body of the elect of the nation of Israel. Okay? And when it says don't blame Trump and don't expect Biden to save it either, why? Is because of that key word, which is prophecy. All right? Prophecy that is written in the Bible. All right? Prophesying America's downfall. All right, it's happening no matter who's going to be in president, who's running the show. All right, America is going to go down. Okay. So it says here, fretting about the U.S. declining global power has long been a parlor game among its establishment thinkers, but there now seems to be nervous consensus in the Beltway that its days world leadership are indeed fast approaching. They're going on, blame it on the president, blame it on Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden going to do any better? Nothing's going to do any better. Okay. Matter of fact, let's get into it early. Okay. First, let's do the big one, Revelation chapter 18. Okay. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is falling, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Meaning what's going to happen, this place is ultimately going to be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction. Now, why is that? All right, it's ultimately, okay, first the foreign policy, all right, that America has, all right, is going to cause the other nations to be angry, all right, and turn and shoot missiles on this place. But before that, you're going to have a lot of corrosion. The dollar's going to crash. Why? Because the Bible talks about these things. And this place, Babylon the Great, all right, is America. Okay, we go to Revelation, the 11th chapter and 8th verse. It talks about their dead bodies, the dead bodies being the Israelites. Okay, what makes them dead is spiritually dead because they don't know that they're Israelites. All right, it says that their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Now, if you read what happened, if you read what happened in the ancient world, you'll know that the things written of aforetime, all right, were written for our learning. All right, it also says that there's no new thing under the sun. Let me read that. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Okay, so you got to take account, all right, what happened in ancient Babylon. All right, in ancient Egypt, Salakia, ancient Egypt. All right, let me see if I can find it real quick. There we go. Genesis, the 45th chapter, that is. All right, let's turn this down. Okay, Joseph, he was one of the sons, all right, of Jacob. Okay, It says in Joseph, verse 14, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph brought the money unto Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. Okay? And that goes into the struggling economy, all right, which we're seeing now to this very day. Why? Because there is no new thing under the sun. All right, now that's, we could get into more detail of that, but that's a subject for another lesson. What I want to do in this article is go down to the key points of America's downfall. Okay, let me read this right here. It says the American century, or Pax Americana, is turning to Pax Americana. Traditionally, the sense of global dominance has relied on three pillars: economic, all right, which is the money, the military, and the cultural power, all right, meaning that for the cultural power, all right, is really America's democracy. All right, going back to Revelation chapter 18, verse 1, reading down verse 3, for all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, meaning that they all lied in bed with Babylon the Great, America, so to speak. Okay, meaning they made deals with them. All right, and that's pretty much your cultural power. All right, which is ultimately that democracy, which is the wine that is referred to in the scriptures. Okay, so it says, while the U.S. still retains undoubted military strength, the other pillars are eroding. Some pointers include the economic rise and surpassing of China as the world's #1 economy. Okay, so China surpassing the United States in global economics. All right, mainly due to the outsourcing that the United States does towards other countries, mainly China. All right, before this whole tariff system, all right, created by Trump came into place, where he's trying to bring all the manufacturing back to America, but it's too late at this point. Okay, this place is already going down, and China making all that money off of Americans, even to this very day, has surpassed America economically. Okay, where like China, if you look at 5G technology, like China is the forerunner of all these things that America wants to do. Okay, because they have been surpassed on that level. So it says chronic trade deficits indicate the U.S. is no longer a productive economy, but one characterized by stock market financial wheeling and dealing, divorced from the real world inhabited by most citizens. Okay, look at the backing of the dollar. All right, the dollar bill is not worth the paper that is printed on. Okay, because of the constant printing money out of thin air, which was created by the Federal Reserve back in the early 1900s. Okay, this is what is causing, okay, a fiat currency which is relied on numbers on the screen, which is the stock market. Okay, it's all numbers on the screen, man. All right, there's no real economy here except for the belief that people have in the U.S. dollar. All right, which is not lining up, okay, with the reality in the rest of the world. Hey, that's why why do you think the United States wants to go into Iran so badly? Why he took down Saddam Hussein, Omar Gaddafi? Okay, what they tell you on the news, all right, is that these people are terrorists. They're bad people. They go out there and they kill women and children, and they do all these things when all they wanted to do, all right, is create a currency with real value behind it. Okay, Omar Gaddafi was trying to build an economy with a that is gold backed. Okay, that is rich with real substantial, okay, riches behind it, which would do what to the US dollar? It would shatter it overnight. Okay? All these nations are pulling away from this US currency, which isn't worth anything. Okay? So reading on, I'll read that part again because that's key. It says chronic trade deficits indicate the U.S. is no longer a productive economy, but one characterized by stock market financial wheeling and dealing. What does wheeling and dealing mean? Trickery, lies, all right, robbery, okay, printing money out of thin air, all right, fudging the numbers here and there, okay, and swindling all these other countries, okay. It says, wheeling and dealing divorced from the real world inhabited by most citizens. It says, the once mighty US dollar is no longer the sole currency for international trade. It says, Russia, China, and other Eurasian nations are moving towards using national currencies for exchange. Okay? And what is that going to do to the United States economy? It's going to crash it. Okay? There's no getting around it. No matter who is in the president's seat, that's what our people don't understand. They're like, oh, we need to vote. We need to get this guy out of office. We need to get this guy in office. It doesn't matter who's in office. The damage is already done. Okay? You can't buy back the debt that America is in. All right? It's insurmountable. Okay? Point number 3. In terms of culture, American soft power has greatly diminished, as can be seen from numerous international public surveys which report growing contempt for U.S. presumptions of leadership. Further, international public opinion views American unilateralism. Let me get that word right. Unilateralism. Unilateralism as a global security threat. That's a $5 word right there. Unilateralism. Okay, let's look up that word since we're bringing out big words. Okay. Esau like to throw out those big words, man. Okay. Paste that. Unilateralism. A policy of taking unilateral action as in international affairs regardless of outside support or reciprocity. All right, meaning participation or pretty much participation. Unilateral. Okay. So let's bring that back up. Let's get rid of you. Okay, so their public opinion is going down. All right. We can get a scripture on that. 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and the 14th chapter. It says, woe to the world, to them and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right? And fast forward 2020, 2021, we're talking about guns. All right? Guns and weapons. Okay? Race riots breaking out in the streets, because when the stock market crashes, we see what happens when a hurricane comes. Hurricane Sandy came and knocked out the power for 6 days. For the most part, there was order, but there was a lot of disorder. Okay, there was a lot of people rioting. I've seen riots happen. All right, when the power went out for one night. So when it's really key to understand exactly how fragile the American society really is. Okay. This place can fall apart, and next thing you know, you'll have cannibalism in the streets in a week, depending on the situation. Okay? So here's the part right here, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. Sedition among men meaning uprising against the government. Okay? It says, they shall not regard their kings nor their princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. All right? Lining up with this article right here. Growing contempt, all right, for United States presumptions of leadership, all right, international public opinion views, all right, a global security threat, meaning there's sedition, there's uprising against the government. The people are not listening to the government anymore. Okay? They don't trust, they don't believe in the system, they don't believe in voting, they don't believe in this whole thing unless you're a real, a super coon, hardcore American. All right? So the next point, verse 4, U.S. exhortations to other nations to obey its political demands, such as sanctions on Iran at the United Nations, are increasingly ignored. That speaks of weakened moral and political authority. Okay? So these other countries that are saying that the United States are telling them don't do any business with Iran because they're our enemy, guess what? They're doing business with them anyway. Okay? They're not listening to the commands of America because they don't respect America. All right? If they respected them, then they would listen to their demands. Going to show that the global public opinion, all right, is rapidly declining. What did it say in Obadiah, the first chapter? Okay? Pardon the background noise. All right, let's grab this. Obadiah, verse 6. How are the things of Esau? All right, who is Esau? Esau, Edom, is the so-called white man. All right, Esau runs the world. He is the wicked that the Bible speaks of, and the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Okay, if you don't believe me, just whose face is printed on the money. All right, so how are the hidden things sought up? It says all the men of thy confederacy. Okay, we read in Revelation, the 18th chapter, all the nations have drunken with her, all right, and laid in bed with her, all right. They were confederate, okay. All the men of thy confederacy, meaning these other nations, have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in them, okay. So what does that mean? Ultimate betrayal. Ultimately, all right, eventually, these other nations are going to turn their back on America. And what? And that is prophecy. Okay? Let's go to Revelation chapter 17. Let's hit verse 16. Okay? Verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth, all right, the whore is talking Babylon the Great, okay? They call her a whore because she's always laying in bed with all these other nations' philosophies, all right, and being a damn whore, man, all right? Where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns, all right, the 10 horns represent the EU. NATO and the EU, all right, those that are confederate with America. The 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, all right, the beast is pretty much the system of the Edomites. It's not pretty much, it's the system of the Edomites, okay? And we're in the system of the fourth beast when you get into the prophecies of Daniel, the 7th chapter, the 8th chapter, all right? It goes into that fourth beast, all right, which is the ancient Roman Empire. And then from there, you have the second leg of Rome, which is America. Okay, that's the beast. All right, and out of that came the leadership of NATO and the EU. All right, which is the 10 horns. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. All right, that whore is America, and these other nations are starting to hate them. Okay, because of their corroded foreign policy. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. All right, meaning they're going to ultimately shoot thermonuclear missiles at this place. All right. Let's see if we can get that back. All right. Okay, so it says U.S. exhortations to other nations to obey its political demands, such as sanctions on Iran at the UN, United Nations, the 10 horns, are increasingly ignored. All right, that speaks of weakened and moral and political authority. Point number 5. Numerous statements from European leaders All right, Merkel, Macron indicate a loss of confidence in the United States as a traditional leader. While Biden may talk about restoring America's alliances, it is no means clear if transatlantic bonds can be repaired. Why? Because it's prophecy. Okay? It's already been written. All right, the 10 horns, all the men of your confederacy, all right, they're going to turn and they're going to burn you with fire. All right? It's written. Point number 6, studies show unprecedented collapsing in social conditions in the United States, from indicators of human health to civic infrastructure. These are hallmarks of past empires undergoing collapse. That's key. That's key right there. We brought up the scripture. There is no new thing under the sun. That's why I briefly brought out in Genesis the 47th chapter about ancient Egypt, okay, ancient Egypt undergoing a financial collapse when the money failed, okay. Babylon the Great is going to go through a similar collapse. Why? Because this place, America, is spiritually Egypt, okay, as well as spiritual Rome, all right, ancient Rome, spiritual Sodom, okay. These all represent, all right, the blasphemy that that America does against the scriptures, okay. And what I want to get, corroding infrastructure, okay. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. I believe it's down here somewhere. All right. Let's get to the point. Yep. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. It's just reiterating what we just read in Obadiah and Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, hell from beneath thee, meaning it's time for America, you Edomites, to start catching hell. Okay, hell from beneath is coming to meet thee at thy coming, and that also represents when Esau first came out, Jacob held the heel of Esau. All right, and that symbolizes what, that Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, and you're going to be brought down into hell. All right, into bad times, starting with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. He's going to come here and he's going to mess this place up. Okay, it says, even the chief ones on earth it hath raised up, all right, from their thrones all the kings of all the nations. Those are talking about the other nations. Okay, what does it say about the other nations? We could go to Joel. You go to Joel, I believe it's the 3rd chapter. Okay. Verse 9, it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. All right, this is talking about the other nations. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. It says, beat your plows into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay. A prime example of that is Iran. Prime example is also North Korea. All right. All these countries that 10, 20 years ago wouldn't have dared said anything against America. All right. Are speaking up and calling them out, or dissing them on TV. Okay. Calling them incompetent, calling them the devil. All this stuff, saying war with America, no problem. Okay. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Okay. So the Lord is stirring up all these other nations, man. All right. And it's all a part of prophecy. Let's go back to, okay, Verse 10, it says, Isaiah 14 and 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, thou art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Okay. So there goes America's military might right there. All right. In the article that we're reading, it says that last pillar, all right, of American structure, all right, is still strong, the military. But what? The Lord's going to bring that down too. Okay? But here's the part about the infrastructure. Verse 11. Let's read that again in the article, just so we're clear on what we're talking about here. Okay? Point 6. Studies show unprecedented collapsing social conditions in the U.S. from indicators of human health to civic infrastructure. Okay? You know, the infrastructure. You look at the bridges, tunnels, the streets, all right, the buildings. Okay? You see everything is ultimately eroding. Okay? Me in particular, you know, in New York City, all right, there's always construction going on. Okay, there's scaffolding everywhere. Bridges always need to be repaired. Everything is falling apart. Okay, it says that these are hallmarks of past empires undergoing collapse. Okay, so this is a sign. This is a sign. Okay, so let's read it. Verse 11: Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. Okay, your pomp, meaning your majesty, your pride. You see that? Your exaltation. Okay. America, the land of the free, the home of the brave. Okay. Actually, I know some people who actually came over here on a boat from Africa. All right, believing that when they came over here to the United States, when they stepped on the tiles of New York City, that they would light up in like in a Michael Jackson video, Billie Jean. Okay, they actually went there and they stomped on the ground and was like, "Why isn't the floor lighting up?" Okay, because of what they heard. Because of what they heard. All right, all these years about America, their majesty was just up there. Like, this is the place to go. The place, the streets are paved with gold. Okay. But it says here that thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. All right, that worm represents the decay, all right, and the dilapidated infrastructure. Okay, and the same thing happened in ancient Rome. That's why they're mentioning it in this thing. These are the hallmarks of past empires undergoing collapse. Okay. The very same thing happened in ancient Egypt. Okay. Oh, this guy just goes on and on. Let me cut it here and do a part 2. Lord willing, this is edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom.